Hello my astrology friends, this is Lada from Astrolada.com and these are your May 2023 video horoscopes for the 12 signs. And this month is big, and the three big events that are happening is the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, after that Mercury turning direct, and Jupiter moving for the first time in 12 years in Taurus. We'll speak about each three of those events, how they affect each of the 12 signs, and of course the eclipse being the most important one will affect only those that have a planet within 2-3 degrees of the eclipse itself, but also whatever house it affects. But to know this, how exactly any of this will affect you, it's best not just to watch those videos, but to check your personal transits on my personal transit calendar, which I've created for you. It's for free every 7 days. It updates itself, or you can buy for $6 just a whole month to see absolutely all the transits that you have ahead, how each transit will affect you specifically. No transit ever affects another person in the world the same way like you, or at the same time, unless you have a twin born within 1 minute of you. Then no one else in the world will have the same influences at the same time like you. That's why your personal transits are so much more important than those general videos, which can still give you an idea, but more specifically, use that tool I have created for you. It's so affordable, and for most people use it for free. We have 70,000 approximately people using it daily. Anyway, let's look ahead, because what will happen with the 12 signs. Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising, May 2023. Wow, this is the biggest month for you, Taurus, this year. First of all, because eclipses are happening on the axis there, and the eclipse on the 6th, 5th or 6th, depends where you're in the world, is right across Taurus. So it directly is on the axis of Taurus, Scorpio, and the Sun is in Taurus, which is part of the eclipse, eclipsing the Moon in Scorpio. So Tauruses will be one of the signs most affected by this eclipse. You can feel it before, a month before that, and up to 6 months after. But especially around like the weeks before and 2-3 weeks after, something big can happen to shake your life, to turn it around with this eclipse, especially if you have any planets in Taurus or Scorpio for that matter. But if you're Taurus, you definitely have either Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in the middle degrees of Taurus, which is from 10 till 20. It's happening around the 14-15 degrees where it's most intense. But if you want to know exactly, check out my transit calendar for the month of May, and it shows just the next 5 to 7 days. If you want to see the whole month, it's $6, but you can see if this eclipse in particular activates something for you directly by conjunction or opposition. Check it out. But anyway, if you have anything in Taurus in those middle degrees, or even in the early and later, this eclipse is definitely, it can be, I call it like it's a bit more rough eclipse. Why is that? Because it's in a sign Scorpio, which is a bit more ruthless, and it's with Uranus, which is more sudden. So this can be eclipse that brings sudden endings for some of you, and especially connected to relationships, because it's activating your 7th house, or some crisis that comes to you from another. Someone activates you to change something in your life, but it's like almost like another person is the engine behind that, or is the trigger behind some powerful realization, because Uranus and the Sun is in your 1st house, that you change something in your life, change the direction of it in a big way. But you're triggered by another person, or the actions of another person, or something important happens in your life through a relationship. Maybe for some of you, always an axis on the descendant degree if it's your Taurus ascendant, or the Sun, especially the Moon if your Moon is in Taurus. Sometimes even the Sun can mean some very big event, fated event happening with a relationship. Even though the eclipse is with the South Node, which can be endings more likely, because South Node is about releasing, excreting, letting go. It's the tail of the dragon. So some of you, if you're in a toxic situation in a relationship, you might be released over the next few weeks or 2-3 months. You might let go of a certain contract or agreement that you have to someone that has been holding you, but it's expired now. Some karmic contract that has finished. So maybe you can let go of some friendship, close friendship, or some toxic relationship, or someone who's holding you back, or someone who is because Scorpio has the energy of obsession, a little bit of control, of taking advantage, a bit predatory energy. So if you feel, even if you don't feel it, but if there is some predatory such energy external to you in your life, that is taking your power away, and it's not necessarily even a person, sometimes it can be something else, but it's like, you know, it's something out there that you might cut cords with it now. Uranus helps you to have sudden realizations about it, and you're like, enough, I'm done with that. I'm not gonna let this poison me anymore. Or you might just suddenly see it from a higher perspective and realize, I don't need this person anymore, or I'm done with that. Or a person might say, I'm done with you. You might have been the one that are hanging on to someone that is not good for you. But sometimes, because I've seen it many times on eclipses on this axis, if you're single, or even if you're not, you might meet the love of your life. I met my husband during an eclipse time, and it's I mean, I don't know if it's for life, you never know that, but it's been going really good. And so sometimes eclipses can also, on the axis of the first 7th house, which is happening for you, it can indicate a fated meeting with someone as well, within a few days, a few weeks of that time. So some of you might be ending a relationship that has, the karma has ended there, it's fizzled out, or suddenly ending it as well because Uranus is involved. While others can be starting a new relationship, but because the South Node is involved, it's a relationship that you've been in past lifetimes before. Even someone that comes back from your life from the past enters your life again, or someone from past lifetimes, that there's a sense of familiarity, something to complete or finish there. So important, interesting events can be happening. Or just more mundane, it can be just some trigger to you by another person that makes you change your life as well, or some ending of a contract, or change of a contract, or commitment to someone that you've made, or agreement with someone. Or it might be a business partnership as well, that something sudden happens and you become aware of something important there, or you find out something secret, because Scorpio is a bit secretive, about someone else as well. That's another way it can play out for you, that can create a bit of a crisis, but also that realigns you to the right direction in your life. Because eclipses, even though they can be a bit shocking sometimes and intense, they are truly like, what's this called, when the train wants to to go back on the right tracks, if the train has been, so it's like derailment, but putting you on the right tracks of your soul contract and your soul mission. Okay, the other big event is that Mercury on the 14th is turning direct in your sign, and around the 5th degree, no, around the 5th degree of Taurus. But most Tauruses will feel it if there were some complications till the middle of the month with papers, with documents, with communications, with plans for travel, with business plans, with emails. Sometimes Mercury retrograde in your sign can create issues, even though it has mostly good aspects, this Mercury retrograde had. But if there was any issues with communications, with documents being delayed, with contracts being delayed, with negotiations, with business dealings that are protracted, or that something has to be edited, redone, or maybe whatever plan you have, everyday plans, the way your day is running is also Mercury. And if it was a bit thrown up in the air when Mercury is retrograde, because you have to accommodate to something new, or change something, or adjust to some circumstances changing. Well, when Mercury turns direct around the 14th, even before that or after that, a few days, you'd see that things start coming back to normal, they normalize, and whatever was stressing you out before, whatever felt maybe that needed extra effort mentally, psychologically, which is what Mercury is, now will come into normal function, and you'd feel more comfortable with it. And many times when Mercury is retrograde in your sign, it can throw up your plans in the air, and with some surprises out of the blue. Be prepared for plan B, C, D till the middle of May. But after that, you'd see that even if your daily schedule was some kind of disrupted and you had to be more flexible during Mercury retrograde and put extra efforts. So Mercury retrograde can require you to put extra mental efforts, to be more deliberate and slow down with communications, with writing, with documents, with papers, to correct some mistakes, for example, that connect to something administrative or with communications, or things from the past could have come to be talked about, that kind of bring things from, oh, you did this or you did that, or things that you're reminiscing about the past, or even you're meeting with people from the past sometimes, and some important conversations involving the past that you're being involved with. Well, when Mercury turns direct, this all kind of, hopefully all the extra efforts you had to make with Mercury retrograde in communications or in administrative work, mental work, editing, writing, speaking, media, internet, passwords, emails, any of those might have gone a little bit wonky or might needed a little bit extra attention and care and loving and focus. Well, once Mercury retrograde finishes, you'd see, well, thanks God, you know, or if you had some problems with communications, with speaking, with writing, with the phone devices, internet connections, with passwords, with cards, you know, all of those things, emails, any issues, they come back, they get restored after the 14th, and hopefully you have more safety in those areas after that. You're more in control, you're more knowledgeable and skilled with these things thanks to the Mercury retrograde period, and you fix whatever mistakes were there, and maybe you came to better agreement if it involved important conversations, to have more balanced relationships with others. You brought up things from the past which hopefully you've resolved, you communicated with, and usually the relationship becomes even stronger after that, or the contract or agreements can become even better. Or if you've been working on some mental work, say some project, or learning about a course, or writing something, or working on some website, or doing some training or some administrative or some report work, writing a book or whatever, maybe you edited, fixed, you put extra efforts, maybe you've change something, and when Mercury turns direct, you see the rewards and you're like, ooh, so much better. Thanks God that this issue propped up, so I fixed it, and actually now I have a better plan. It's a better solution. It worked out better. That's how I usually have seen Mercury retrograde work. But if it's been stressful, it goes away after the middle of May. The other big event, again, it's happening in Taurus. That's why I said Taurus, this is the biggest month for you, is that Jupiter is entering your sign on the 16th for the first time in 12 years. This is huge, Taurus. I mean, wow. Despite the eclipse there, the beginning, the moment Jupiter enters your sign, you're protected. Even if there was some kind of shakeups or surprises, Jupiter enters your sign, and you will be kind of immediately for the next 12 months, you're protected in some way. It doesn't mean bad things will not happen, life carries on, but somehow you personally, Jupiter there, the presence of your guardian angel, so of your highest self, Jupiter rules the higher self, the higher mind. It's kind of, even if you're in a pickle, it can take you out of this difficult situation by you taking up a higher mental approach, you being more philosophical, seeing whatever comes to you as in a sense, because Jupiter actually rules your 8th house, so it can bring some sudden changes in your life over the next 12 months. 8th house is about reversals, crisis, sudden changes, or something that is kind of a bit of a shock. But this time, despite of those shocks, you take a higher philosophical moral ground. 8th house is also power struggle. Sometimes Jupiter can even bring for Taurus power struggles. I know it's a great planet, but in your case, it rules a bit more difficult house. So it brings this in a big way, Jupiterian way, but you benefit through it because it's also a benefic. Yes, it rules a hard house of crisis, death. I'm not saying you're going to die, but of death and rebirth of the ego, of the self. You can change your appearance, for example, over the next 12 months. If it's your ascendant or even the sun or the moon, you can change your physical body in some way. You can make a big transformation to your health and physical body. Or if it's your sun in Taurus, you can make a big transformation and change in your career, which can be a little bit like sudden, or it needs like it shakes you up as well. It shakes up your identity, who I am. Or it can bring like a new career or something, you know, or it can, and such. Jupiter also rules your 11th house, so it rules 8th house and 11th house, so it can bring for you themes of gainfulness as well. It can also bring other people's resources into your life. The rule of the 8th house is Jupiter, support from another physical material. It can bring more vital force to rejuvenate you and heal psychological and emotional traumas. The rule of the 8th rules those things. That's Jupiter in your sign, to revitalize you, especially if there is blocked and trapped energy in your body that manifests as illness or psychological kind of blockages from trauma. Jupiter can release this now. It can be very helpful for counseling with someone with higher knowledge, because Jupiter rules the 8th house of psychologists, of tantric healers, of any sorts that you can benefit through, because it comes into your sign, renew you, heal you, release, and bring opportunities. Because for you, Jupiter's transit always connected to healing traumas, because it rules your 8th house, and it's connected to making path for new friends to enter your life. It's interesting, Saturn is in your 11th house, which can make you like be very cautious about who you let in your life. But the rule of the 11th house comes into your sign, so in you. So while Saturn can eliminate friendships that are no longer necessary, or that friendships that that's like time wasters, and focus more on friendships that are connected to mutual goal of some sort, to being productive or to achieving something together, like work connections. Well, Jupiter will allow for new opportunities for networking. It will bring new, even like friends coming to you, new people into your life that can be beneficial, that can be supporting to you, that can present some opportunities for growth for you as well. And gains. Jupiter can definitely bring you gains when it's in Taurus. First of all, Taurus is a sign of money. Jupiter would expand such ideas for you, and it's the rule of the 11th house, gainfulness, social economic participation in the system, which leads for you to be noticed publicly, to be recognized, or to be financially gainful in some way, to achieve some long-term goal, dreams of yours that's usually material or social in nature. It's kind of a fulfillment of a personal wish and a dream of yours that Jupiter can allow you to do over the next 12 months. And just like I told for Aries, Jupiter in your sign doesn't immediately mean your whole life will be fixed over the next 12 months, but something will appear. It can be a new inspiration, new idea, new exciting project, something that will put more meaning and purpose in your life, that you will unfold over the next 11 years. Just like I started my business when Jupiter was in my sign 12 years ago, but took me 11 years to see the benefits of it. But you can start something new, powerful, that is a source of growth, gains, a source of transformation and psychological healing for you as the rule of the 8th house, a source of gains, more popularity, more participation in society, and wealth as well, and more confidence. Definitely when Jupiter enters your sign, you're going to start feeling more positive. You'll feel it in May. All Tauruses will feel an immediate shift, more positive mentally, psychologically, but the earlier born Tauruses will feel it especially strongly now in May. And confidence, opportunities start coming, more sense of humor comes. You start seeing the humorous side of life. You start seeing the positive side of life. You're not so focused on the negative. It really lifts up your vibration. It can take you out of feeling down. It can take you out of feeling stuck. But as I said, sometimes Jupiter, because Jupiter rules your 8th house, can do it in a bit of forceful way, can do it in a bit through a shock or some crisis in some cases. But again, ultimately you'd feel more alive, more happy in this, with new meaning and restored sources of restored vitality as well. So confidence, positivity can increase. Intuition, oh, definitely. Being at the right place at the right time, being more lucky as well. Opportunities will come to you. Pay attention to them over the next 12 months. Good luck. you'd feel inspired. They say when Jupiter trines your sign, you can put on weight. Well, I did a little bit, but it's good because I started a new lifestyle. I stopped vaping, and of course I'll put on weight. I have me and my addictions always. If it's not one thing, it will be another. But I developed a new obsession to eat, which is great. I mean, but it's a new lifestyle. I mean, I've been using some nicotine products since I was 16, and for the first time I'm not. Right? And there's these big things that Jupiter in your sign can do when it enters, and you do it with ease because you enter a higher state of consciousness, almost like an elevated state of perspective that allows you, if it's been hard till now to do something in your life, now you see it as something exciting and positive and liberating, because Jupiter makes you shift consciousness to a higher perspective rather than keep trying to do something from the same perspective as the problem was created. So that's how Jupiter can be helpful for you in other ways as well. Thank you. Have a great month for new beginnings, Tauruses. Of course, there is a new moon after that. I forgot to tell you, new moon in Taurus, which is right after, let me just see, around the 19th, right after Jupiter moves into Taurus. So after the 19th of 20th, 21st, a lot of Tauruses might feel very inspired to start those new beginnings already. Thank you so much.